Hi, welcome back to Good News in Real Estate, all positive all the time, here on 950 ESPN. Phil Falcone, the author of Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start Now. So has some out-of-the-box ideas. What do you got for us today, Phil?
Well, today I want to talk about what I call the anatomy of a flip. I want to break it down for you over the next 2 weeks and give people some idea of how you do one, where you find them, how you finance them, maybe throw in some funny stories about some things that have happened to me on flips. Okay, so why don't we start with, how do you find them? How do you find them? I'm a licensed realtor, so it's not too hard for me to search all the properties that are available. And I find a lot of deals out there on the MLS. You can kind of tell when the sellers are motivated because if you're a realtor, you can set up an automatic search of all the properties in the area that are for sale. And anytime the listing agent changes the price of that property, it will get reposted on the search engine. So if I see a property's price dropping from $110,000 to $100,000 to $90,000 over the course of 7 weeks, I know I got a guy who wants to move that property. So after I see it drop once or twice, I can try to approach them and make a move on that deal. And if you're not a realtor, then you should just give Mark Cumberland a call and see if he can help you find it.
I will help you.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
So
that's one of the ways I find them. Another way is you go to sheriff sales. In Bucks County, where I do most of my investing, I go to all the sheriff sales. I don't buy properties at sheriff sales, and that's a long story of why I don't. But what I do get there, and I get it for free, is information. The power of information in real estate is very important. What you find out at a sheriff sale is if a house is going to foreclosure, you find out what investors are willing to pay for it because you're going to hear them bid for it right there at the sheriff sale. And if nobody bids on it, you're going to hear the upset price, which is what the bottom line number that the bank is willing to take for it. A lot of times, 90% of the properties that go up to sheriff sale don't get sold to another investor. The bank simply stands up and say, our upset price is $110,000, and I know right away what the bottom line is that bank is willing to accept. And then I can, after that, about a week, the property comes back up on the market, what they call an REO, and I can make a move on the property through the REO agent who's been hired by the bank to list it. So that's one of the several of the ways that I find the properties that are in turmoil, that are in distress. And I also do some direct marketing to sellers. I basically write letters and I send them to houses that look like they're messed up. Let's face it, if you want to find yourself a good piece of real estate to flip, it's got to be ugly. Real ugly.
Not always that ugly.
Come on, it was always the dog of the neighborhood.
Not necessarily. It's all different reasons they all show up.
Okay, so let me tell you some funny stories about a deal I did that was extra ugly.
This was the ugly one?
Yeah, I bought this house. I saw it advertised in a newspaper. It was listed by an attorney, and there was an auction for the house. Make a long story short, I put a bid in on the auction, and I lost the auction. And after a year, I kept driving by the house. Nobody was ever fixing it up. So I finally called up the attorney, and I said, what's going on? And the guy who won the auction never settled on the property. So what I did was I reiterated my bid, and he accepted it. This house was bad, man. It had cannonball-sized holes in the roof all over the property. I mean, it literally looked like a pirate ship went down the street and fired cannonballs at it. And there was these holes in the roof were so bad you could stand on a ladder and poke your head right through the roof like a Three Stooges episode. and it was raining inside the house where these cannonball holes were for years. So the wood floors underneath were completely rotted. There were termites all over the place because termites eat wet wood. And the bottom line was this house was so ugly that it scared any logical person away from buying it.
I was going to say, you still wanted to buy it?
Well, there was 2 feet of vegetation in the gutters. There was a shed out back I knocked down with a screwdriver. Okay, so that gives you an idea how messed up this house was. But the reason I want to talk about this and give you this tip is because sometimes when a house is really messed up, all your normal people are going to be scared of it. And the guy who's willing to come in there and renovate it can get an amazing deal on it.
Very good. So, and that's true. It's all in the eye of the beholder, and opportunity's there.
Oh man, I gotta know what happened to that house, Phil.
Well,
what happened to it is I bought it for $115,000. I put $65,000 into it, and I sold it for 320 grand.
A winner. Ding, 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 ding.
Wish I had 100 more like it.
That's right. All right. Let's stop for 1 second. Where are we at now? All right. So Anna, you say you're here, Anna.
I'm here.
You ready? Go ahead.
I'm ready. Phil, I really want to thank you for sharing that tip. I really
That was a
enjoyed
good one.
Yeah. Coming up next, we have our question and answer.
So you're listening to Good News in Real Estate, all positive, all the time. We'll be right back.